Welcome to Keeping It Real with Dr. Linda Chinn. This is the podcast where real life choices meet biblical truth without the fluff. Tune in every second and fourth Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as Dr. Chinn shares faith-filled, practical insights to navigate everyday challenges. Get ready for real talk, real life, and real answers.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real with Dr. Linda Chinn. I am Audrey Bell Kearney. Got a good one for you today. Listen, I probably could have wrote the book on half of this one. When it comes to weight loss, I probably could have wrote the book on half of that side. I can tell you that. I think the only thing I haven't tried was a cabbage diet. That's because I don't like cabbage. But we got a good show for you today. And if you are suffering with diabetes or you're struggling with your weight, and a lot of people are. Did you know that about 64% of the women in the United States are size 14 and above? Now, for some of us, if you're 5'9", size 14 is fine. But if you're like 5'3", size 14, you look like me. And that's okay. I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying. So we got a great show with you today. So I'm going to bring up Dr. Chinn and her guest, and she's going to do a quick introduction. It is March 2nd, y'all. Do me a favor. There is a QR code up in the upper left-hand corner there. Scan that code so you never miss an episode. Subscribe to the show if you listen to it on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Music. Subscribe to the show and share it with 2 friends, okay? Without further ado, let me bring them up to the stage. Good afternoon, Dr. Chinn.
Good afternoon, Audrey Bell Kearney. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Where is my guest? Here he's. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Audrey, for the wonderful introduction. And as usual, we'll give Vince the last word. But Vince, what we do is we give Audrey a chance at the end to come back and give her insights as someone who's sitting in the background and questions that she may have that maybe the audience. Sometimes people engage, but we just allow her to come in and share with us as well and ask you questions. Is that all right?
Of course it is. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Audrey. We'll see you. So listen, I'm not going to be what do you say? I'm not going to hold us long. But I want to introduce to you someone who I have great admiration for. And I met him virtually some years ago through the Red Line. I met him on, I think it was a Daily Huddle or something, but this man is awesome. And so let me just tell you a little bit about him because he's just so gifted. Vince is 63. Vince Roundtree is 63. He's National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach. And he is passionate. If you ever go to his pages, he is passionate about helping people with weight loss, diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, to reduce their dependency on medications so that they can get off meds or even cut down the meds. Listen, I can tell you, I'm a witness, but he does it through group help, coaching, and the business is called the Red Line Result. The key word here is result. He helps people who are treated with diabetes. He helps people with obesity, heart disease, hypertension, high cholesterol, and he does it using plant-based and nutrition. And many people get off medications completely, and some people reduce. I'm one of those who's had some medications reduced. I came off one blood pressure medication following him, and another one was reduced. So when Vince himself was diagnosed with high blood pressure, the doctor gave him a prescription, those prescription where cholesterol lowers, what they call them, lowering statins. Mm-hmm. But after seeing some of even his own family members go on meds and deal with these things, and he still saw them dying of heart disease, he made a decision, and it was a life-changing decision. And his decision is helping over 17,000 people. He switched to plant-based nutrition, and in less than 2 months, right, his cholesterol dropped, his blood pressure dropped, and he lost 20 pounds. So this is real stuff. Like I said, I've been on it. I still go on to get the recipes and so forth. But let me just tell you a little bit about his education so you know he's the real deal. He has a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Chemical Engineering from Rutgers. He has a Master's of Business Administration from Emory. He has multiple certifications, right? And so, but this is the thing. So for for Food for Life is an evidence-based program. He can tell you this, but I don't want to keep going on. He has group coaching. He speaks, and I said he's passionate. He does corporate training, and he also does one-on-one consultation. So without further ado, I want to bring up to you my guest, Vince Roundtree. Welcome, 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 Vince. How you doing today?
Thank you so much, Linda. I appreciate the introduction, and I am excited to share with your audience this information on weight loss, on reversing type 2 diabetes, and just the elements of what is necessary for everyone to live their best, most authentic, and healthiest lifestyle. So I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to just jump in. I'm going to jump right in. Okay. Is type 2 diabetes actually reversible? Is that true?
Yeah, great question. The answer is, for many people, yes. Not 100% of the people. I will say this, that type 2 diabetes, or elevated blood glucose level, is a function of two independent variables. Variable number one is how much insulin is your pancreas producing? That's number one. And number two, how effective is that insulin? Now, when you have what we call insulin resistant, your body is resisting the functionality of insulin. When you're insulin resistant, your pancreas is producing insulin, but it's not nearly as effective as it could be. And the food that you eat actually impacts both of those. It impacts, number one, how much insulin your pancreas is producing, and number two, how effective that insulin actually is. And for many people, when they change and start eating in a way that their insulin is more effective, for many people, they'll be able to get off of their medication completely. And for those people, yes, type 2 diabetes can be reversed. Some people, it depends on the functionality of their pancreas. And if their pancreas is not making enough insulin, will it ever be able to make enough? For some people, that answer is going to be no. But we don't know until you give your body a chance and give it the best possible environment to be as effective as it can with insulin, and to provide the background and environment so that your pancreas can make as much insulin as possible.
Wow. Okay. So it can be. And a lot of people who deal with diabetes, it runs through my family, Vince.
Yes.
Don't really think it is. And so what would you say is the root cause of diabetes? I'm curious.
Yes. So here is and it's really important that we talk about the difference between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes, because the long-term effect is the same, but the pathology is very different. For type 1 diabetes, your pancreas just is not making insulin. And that's usually caused by an autoimmune condition that attacks either the insulin or the beta cells of the pancreas that make the insulin. So that's type 1, but that's like 5% of the people in this country with diabetes. 95% of the people in this country that have diabetes or pre-diabetes is type 2. And type 2 diabetes is primarily caused by this insulin resistant. In other words, your pancreas is working hard to make insulin, but that insulin is not very effective. And so, to answer your question on what is the cause of type 2 diabetes, another way of stating that is, well, why isn't your body as sensitive to insulin as it could be? And so when somebody who is resistant to insulin, they'll eat a potato, their glucose goes up and it stays up, and they naturally say, well, I got to stop eating potatoes. It's logical. but it leaves out one very important factor, and that is this. Well, why is it somebody else can eat a potato and their blood glucose goes up and comes right back down?
Yes.
That's the difference between someone who's insulin resistant and who is not. And so rather than blaming the potato, what we really have to look at is, why is it that somebody can eat a potato, the glucose goes up and come back down? And the reason why that is because if you eat a potato and your glucose goes up and comes back down, what that means is glucose is able to transport from the bloodstream into your muscle cells. You see, your muscle cells are where the glucose is supposed to go. Basically, look at it this way. When you eat a potato, your body wants to use that glucose as fuel. And in order for it to use that glucose as fuel, then that glucose goes in the bloodstream. That part is normal, right? You should get a glucose spike when you eat a potato. That's normal. But then when it goes down, where is it supposed to go? 80% of it should be going into your muscle cells, and the other 20% should be going into your liver cells.
Okay.
And if it can't get into the muscle cells, then it stays built up in the bloodstream. And so the question is, well, why is it that glucose is staying built up in the bloodstream and it can't get into the muscle cell? The answer to that is because you have fat ectopically. You have fat in your muscle cells and you have fat in your liver cells. And nobody thinks about that or looks at that. We just want to blame the potato, or we just want to blame the bread, or we just want to say, well, I can't eat peaches, pears, and plums. I can't eat fruit because my glucose spikes up. The spike is normal depending upon how high it is, but what's important is it should come back down in less than 2 hours. And if it does not, then that is proof that you have fat in your muscle cells and fat in your liver cells. And what we have to do is work on getting that fat out of the muscle cells and getting that fat out of the liver cells.
Okay.
And when that happens, then glucose can make its way in, and now you are now insulin sensitive and you no longer need medication for diabetes.
I'm loving this. So the fat can come out of the muscle cells and the liver cells. That's possible.
The fat can come out of the muscle cells and the liver cells, but you first have to get it out of your diet, because step one is every time we eat a piece of chicken, every time we eat a steak, every time we eat pork chops, every time we eat mac and cheese, the saturated fat in those foods gets into your bloodstream, and you can see it. And I don't have my screen share right now, but you can literally see what it looks like to have fat in your bloodstream and understand what cells come in contact with your bloodstream. Every muscle cell in your body gets its oxygen from blood. Well, if that blood is full of saturated fat, then there is a possibility for that saturated fat to get into the muscle cell, because the fat does not need insulin to get into the muscle cell. You see, we need insulin to get glucose from the bloodstream into the muscle cell. Fat does not need insulin. Fat can go right in there. And when fat is in the muscle cell, it blocks glucose from moving from the bloodstream into the muscle cell. So we got to get that fat out of your bloodstream, and then that gives your body an opportunity for then that fat to come out of the muscle cells. And that can happen in days for some people. Other people, it's weeks. Other people, it's months. But on my last Red Line Challenge, we had a lady who was on the fast-acting insulin, or what we call the bolus insulin, and the slow-acting insulin, which we call basal insulin. She was on both. She was on those two types of insulin at the same time. And during the 5-day challenge, by Thursday, her low glucose alarm kept going off, And her she had a continuous glucose monitor, and that registered to her doctor. And her doctor says, "What's going on? Your low glucose levels has never gone off before. What's happening?" And she says, I'm starting this program. I'm eating below the red line, and my glucose level dropped as a result. Her doctor said, and this is during the 5 days, it's happened in 4 days. Her doctor said, "Stop taking your slow-acting insulin." Less than 4 days. And this woman had been on insulin for years. In 4 days, her doctor said, "Stop. If you're going to keep eating below the red line like this, if you're going to keep doing that, stop taking your slow-acting insulin."
Okay, so we've got 2 people on already. Nellie West says, helpful because she's a diabetic. Ashley Potter, that's my niece. Thank you, Nellie and Ashley. This topic is important to her. We already know. I already know you have got to come back because this is way too important. There are way too many people that you and I both know who are dealing with chronic diseases that we don't have to deal with. So let me ask you, are most doctors treating the symptom instead of the root cause? So, because that's what it sounds like to me, that they're not talking to you about why the potato, does this, that, and the other thing, and what I could do. It sounds like they're treating the symptom and not the root cause.
Excellent question, Linda. This really gets down to the nitty-gritty. And here's the thing. Doctors are trained on how to use medication, and they are trained to how to do surgical procedures, and they get zero training on how to use nutrition to reverse chronic disease. Now, they get some training on fats, proteins, carbohydrates. They'll tell you, they know the vitamins you got to take. They know that the minerals and all of that. So they know that. But here is what is so important is they don't get trained on how to use nutrition to reverse chronic disease. So it's like they're a mechanic and the only thing they got is a hammer and a screwdriver. But sometimes you need a wrench. Sometimes you need a saw. And nutrition functions like this tool that they don't have. So very rarely, in fact, almost never, there are a few doctors that are certified in what we call lifestyle medicine. And those doctors will say, "What are you eating?" And those doctors understand that the saturated fat that is in all meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, that saturated fat, when you eat meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, that the saturated fat from those foods gets in your bloodstream. From the bloodstream, those fats then can get into the muscle cell and the liver cell. And when those fats are in the muscle cell and liver cell, that is the cause of insulin resistance. And then that glucose cannot transport from the bloodstream into the muscle cell. So your glucose stays built up in the bloodstream.
Okay, wait. So I thought it was supposed to be in the muscle and the liver cells.
The glucose is supposed, that's where glucose is supposed to get. The fat's not supposed to be there.
Understood. Sorry. Thanks.
No. This is good because it's really, so we talk about insulin, glucose, and fat, these 3 different things, and it's really easy to get those things confused. I mean, I get it. I've been studying this for a number of years, and I can get it confused as well. But the fact of the matter is that glucose, you want glucose to go from the bloodstream into the muscle cell. And when fat is in your muscle cell, well, then that kind of blocks glucose from getting in. But we can reverse that for most people if we get rid of meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, and you will see the difference in literally in 5 days. And that's why I run a 5-day weight loss challenge. I run this challenge because there is so much fraudulent stuff on the internet. There are so many people that are telling lies that I decided to run a program where my primary goal is to get you a positive result so that you're not sitting on the sidelines. This is not just reading a book. This is not just going to somebody's webinar and you listen to a sales pitch. No. I want you to participate and let me see how your body responds. So what I ask you to do is to eat these foods below the red line for 5 days and watch what happens. And here's what I love. Again, 17,000 people have been through my red line challenge. Literally, 17,000 people have registered. And by the third day, I asked people, what are you experiencing differently? And I've lost 3 pounds. My blood pressure is already dropping. My knee pain is going away. No more brain fog. My glucose is going down. I'm feeling more energy. I'm sleeping better. Like, all of these things happen. And my goal, Linda, is for everyone to experience that firsthand. So this is not just me yelling and screaming, and although I do yell and scream, you probably noticed
it's your passion.
I do yell and scream, but I get you a result. And that's the purpose of my 5-day program, is to get you a result.
I love it. I have experienced the results, I'm telling you. So what's the biggest lie? This is what I want to know. What do you say, in your opinion? What's the biggest lie patients are told and believe about weight loss?
The biggest lie, about weight. Well, here's a couple of things. Well, number one, the biggest lie on weight loss is olive oil will help you to lose weight.
Ooh. Ooh.
And here's the thing, and the reason why I call that the biggest lie is because, as you know, I've put foods on this big chart, and I sorted them based on calorie density. In fact, from lowest to highest. In fact, this is where, let me just talk. So, as you mentioned, my undergraduate is in chemical engineering. I like science, I like physics, and I like data. And to describe weight loss, and I'm answering your question on the biggest lie, let me just kind of go to some science as to what causes. Why is it so hard to lose weight? Why is it that 80% of Americans are either obese or overweight? The answer is science. Let me ask you to think about this for 1 second, and then I'll talk about this calorie density chart. Before I get to the calorie density chart, let me quickly explain to you what causes something to sink or to float. Imagine you got a pool of water and you throw in a brick. The brick's going to sink down to the bottom of the pool. The reason why the brick sinks is because the density of the brick is higher than the density of the water. So it goes down. You throw a beach ball on top of the water, the beach ball floats. Why? Because the density of that beach ball is lower than the density of the water. So it floats. So what determines whether something sinks or floats is the relative density of the two objects. Whatever has the highest density is going to sink. The lowest density is going to float. The same concept is true on weight loss. When you eat foods where the calorie density is really, really high, you eat a little bit, but you take on a lot of calories. That is going to lead to weight gain with no question about it. And the reverse is true. If you eat foods where the calorie density is very, very low, then you can eat all you want and you'll still lose weight. And so that's why I put all these foods on this big chart. I drew a red line.
I have the chart.
If you eat the foods below the red line, eat as much as you want, literally, and you will lose weight. And on average, again, 17,000 people have been through my program. About 6,000 of them have reported their weight loss at the end of the program. And on average, people lose 4 pounds in 5 days without being hungry, while I'm telling them, eat as much as you want.
Right.
But I know I got to stop eating by 7 o'clock. I said, if you wake up at 3 in the morning, you want to eat. Make sure it's below the red line. Eat whenever you want and watch what happens.
So let me say this, and I'm saying this to the listening audience, those who are participating and those who will listen later. This is why a lot of people, well, I should say this, and I feared eating below the red line, because we think for some reason that if we eat beneath the red line that we can enjoy food. I am here to tell you, y'all, you know me, those of you who know me, that is a lie. I love food, but I don't eat to live. I eat to live and not live to eat. So that's a lie. Let me just throw that in. That's you can enjoy your meals eating beneath the red line. I just wanted to throw that in, Vince.
Thank you for that. We needed to hear that, because there are definitely some false information where people think, yeah, but if I eat below the red line, that food gonna be nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's because you don't understand how to make the food below the red line good, because we can do that. We can absolutely do that.
All right. So let me ask you this. This sounds simple. Are carbs the enemy? You know how they tell us to read labels, and I look at how many calories, certain things are. I'm reading all these things that I found are helpful, but they're not really the answer. So are carbs the enemy?
Absolutely not. Here's the thing. The keto industry has put all carbs in this big bucket and said carbs are bad.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like taking all people, I don't care if they are convicted criminals or if they're Mother Teresa, and putting them all in one category and say all people are bad.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense, because there are amazing people and there's horrible people. And carbs are the same thing. Because fruits and vegetables are primarily carbohydrates. Calories mostly come from carbohydrates. Beans, lentils, potatoes, the calories primarily come from carbohydrates, and these are incredibly healthy foods. Now, cakes and cookies and candies are primarily carbohydrates as well. So there are fantastic carbs and there are horrible carbs. So if you put them in one category and say carbs are bad, that is just a poor characterization of a carbohydrate. Now, to answer your question in the realm of weight loss, if your goal is weight loss and somebody says avoid carbs, I would ask you to think of it this way. If I look at protein, fat, carbohydrate, and I measure them in calories per gram, protein has 4 calories in each gram. Carbohydrates have 4 calories per gram, per gram of a carbohydrate. Fat has 9 calories in every gram. So you tell me what has more calories? Fat, protein, carbohydrate. Fat, it has 9, protein and carbohydrate has 4, and you're running from the 4 to the 9 and trying to figure out why you can't lose weight.
What's the 14? The 14 calories per gram.
No, nothing is 14. It's 4.
Oh, you said 4. Okay.
Yeah, protein is 4, carbohydrate is 4, and fat is 9.
9.
Now,
okay.
Here's the important thing. Water is 0.
Right.
And so that sounds trivial, but it's not. Because if you want to lose weight, and this sounds obvious, but it'll sound a little bit different. If you want to lose weight, your secret is eat as much water as possible. I didn't say drink it. I said eat as much water as possible. How do you eat water? Number 1, vegetables and fruit are primarily water. So eat plenty of vegetables, eat plenty of fruit. It is absolutely impossible to gain weight eating fruits and vegetables. Impossible.
So what about the diabetic who says I can't eat white grapes and I can't eat apple? Talk to me.
Because that diabetic, when they eat the grape and when they eat the watermelon and when they eat the peach, their glucose goes up. But why did it go up? Because they got fat in their muscle cells. So the reason why they can't is because they got fat in the muscle cell. So if you get rid of the meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, then you can eat it. Linda, there was a lady who was in my program years ago, and she said this. She said, Vince, all my life I've been told, well, not all my life, all of my years as being a diabetic, I was told I can't eat watermelon, I can't eat potatoes, and I love watermelon and I love potatoes. And she said, you telling me I can eat all I want of those things? I said, if you get rid of the meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs, and oil, if you get rid of those foods, I'm saying, yes, you can eat as much of that as you want. She said, I don't believe you. She said, I'm going to prove you a liar. I'm going to prove you a liar. I said, okay, do that. And so she said that she ate watermelon all throughout the day. And for dinner, she had potatoes. And the next day, she did the same thing. I said, what'd your glucose do? She said, it went down. And the next week, she did the same. I said, what happened to your glucose? It went down. By about 4 weeks, she was off all her medication. And she said, I guess you're not a liar. I guess you told me the truth. And she literally reversed her diabetes eating watermelon and potatoes. And the reason why that sounds so impossible is because we don't understand the mechanism that causes your glucose to go up is the fat in the muscle cell. That's the culprit. And when we get rid of that, then you give your body a chance for that glucose to go into your bloodstream, but then leave the bloodstream and get into the muscle cell. Now it's got a place to go, and it doesn't stay up. It goes up and it comes right back down.
So you know how you know people who know a little about everything?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was told that cardio and strength training are more effective. They help improve the insulin sensitivity. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Let me tell you why. So number one, so let's break it. It happens for two different reasons. So let's first talk about strength training. Strength training is absolute. They both will improve your insulin sensitivity. Strength training improves your insulin sensitivity, and your it gives you. Let me describe it this way. And I just read this article, and I thought this was brilliant. Glucose is supposed to go into the muscle cell. For many of us that don't exercise, as we get older and older and older, and if you're not exercising, your muscle cells shrink. So the capacity for your muscles to hold glucose is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It's like, imagine your glucose is like a pair of like shoes that you're supposed to put your shoes in the closet. But over your years, as you get older and older, your closet space getting smaller and smaller and smaller because your muscle cells are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So you got less place to put the shoes. Now, instead of the shoes being in the closet, they all spill all over the room because you don't have enough room in the closet. How do you build more room in the closet? If you exercise and you make that muscle stronger, that's also making that muscle larger. It then can hold more glucose. So that's one reason. The second reason is because there are two separate pathways of getting glucose from the bloodstream into the muscle cell. Pathway number one requires insulin. And so when we eat a potato, the carbohydrates convert to glucose. Glucose gets built up in the bloodstream. And when glucose is built in the bloodstream, that signals the beta cells of your pancreas to make insulin. Insulin's job is to like usher glucose from the bloodstream into the muscle cell.
Right.
But when you have fat in your muscle cell, that system gets clogged up and that glucose stays built up in your bloodstream. And that's the reason why, is because as long as you have fat in your muscle cell, glucose is going to have a difficult time moving from the bloodstream into the muscle cell. So we gotta get the fat out of the muscle cell. Like that is the cause of the problem. And the way to get the fat out of your muscle cell and out of your liver cell is you gotta stop eating meat, cheese, fish, dairy, eggs. Because whenever you eat those foods, your bloodstream is high of fat and oil. It's really important to get rid of oil because oil is 100% fat. And so that oil can go from the bloodstream straight into the muscle cell. And now that keeps glucose from getting in. So,
oh my God.
So this is the reason why literally half of all adults in this country have either diabetes or pre-diabetes. Most of the ones with pre-diabetes don't know it yet because
Mhm.
pre-diabetes, there's no symptoms. You feel great. You don't know any different. But then if you get a blood test, it's like, wait, what do you mean I'm pre-diabetic?
Yes.
But the reason why half of all adults have it is because we all eating cheese and chicken and pizza and like that's normal. So as long as that's normal, diabetes will be normal.
Wow. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all, I've gotten passionate about this. When you go through health challenges, you will make up your mind. Either you're gonna keep doing and living and eating and drinking what you've been and admit to yourself. I gotta say this, Vince. Please admit to yourself that you are contributing to your own chronic disease.
Right.
So when you decide that, like Vince did, that you're no longer going to contribute to your own chronic disease, that's when you'll do something different. You won't do anything different until you hurt enough to know I've got to do something different. And you won't until you learn enough. And that's why I asked Vince to come on, and we got to have him back. When you learn enough, then you're equipped to make the proper changes. But I got to throw this in, Vince. So I know people who brag on the fact that they don't eat meat, but they eat fish. But you talk to those people today, please.
Well, if you're going to eat any animal product, fish would be the one to eat.
Okay.
I mean, if I were going to eat any animal product, fish would be the one that I would eat. But my recommendation, if you have diabetes, is keep it to a minimum. Like, know that the best way to eat in order to reverse type 2 diabetes is going to be eat as much fruits, vegetables, whole grains, beans, lentils, split peas, chickpeas, potatoes, corn, and oatmeal, things that are grown from the ground. If you want to have a piece of fish a couple of times a week, okay, go ahead and do that, but don't make it the center of your plate. Make the rice and the beans and the potatoes and the fruits and the vegetables baked or fried. I would say you don't fry anything in oil. Like, number one is the oil, but number two, when you heat that oil up, now you can oxidize it. So just try to eliminate all oil and try not to ever eat anything that's fried. There is nothing positive about anything that's deep fried in oil. If you want another alternative, would be to air fry. Get an air fryer.
I love it.
Now that's not in oil. That's just air that's being circulated. That is way better than frying in oil. So I would say bake and don't use oil, and don't fry anything. Don't fry anything. Yeah, it makes it taste good. Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, we've done it all of our lives, but it's not good for your health.
Killing us. Best fish. Because see how I knew we were going to get the time. Well, I knew it. So of all fish, what would you say is a good fish?
Oh, I don't know, because personally where I am, I don't recommend any. So it'd be hard for me to say. I would say fish would be a good source. I mean, there are plant-based sources of omega-3 fatty acids. There are plant-based, because the reason why fish are high in the omega-3 fatty acids is because they eat algae. Algae is a plant. Algae is a plant. Is a plant in the ocean or in the water. So you can get algae-based omega-3s, but like a seafood like a salmon would be one that's high in omega-3 fatty acids. I would want to look for or be against anything that's farm raised, because oh my God, if you've ever seen video of farm raised salmon, like they are literally in their own feces, and it's horrible.
Yeah, I don't eat farm raised any farm raised fish at all, and then they're eating the antibiotics and all of that.
That's right. But it's hard to know. It's hard to know what's what, because people will lie. Like you see that beautiful pink salmon, they color that stuff, man. It's normally brown. So oh man. So you're just better off just avoiding it altogether. But if I had to do something, it would be that.
Okay, there are a couple more questions. Audrey, I know we're getting past the time. Come on in, Audrey, but there's a couple more questions I want to ask, I want to get to before we go off. And because it's important. So help me God. Vince, does stress affect blood sugar?
Absolutely. Stress.
Stress.
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, because stress increases cortisol levels, and cortisol levels decrease insulin sensitivity. So stress absolutely will make your glucose level go up. So yeah, that is a problem. That is definitely a cause for elevated glucose. Bad sleep, poor sleep.
Thank you.
Sleep is
wow.
really, really important. So we talk about eating a clean plant-based diet, exercise. We talked a little bit about the strength exercise, and then the walking after your meal helps to make the body more insulin sensitive. Stress, sleep, exercise, food, all of those things play together. There are some medications that will cause you to have elevated glucose levels as well.
Oh, God.
So in general, we want to try to create habits. It's all about creating habits that we can do on a regular basis. So, if you're married and you and your spouse can try to get into a walking thing, that's a good thing to do. If you can find something that you like together that is active, do that. And I don't care what it is, but you want to find something that you can do on a regular basis, because it's not about, okay, I'm going to join the gym and then you go, 3 days a week for 2-3 weeks. You're like, man, I'm done with that. But you got to find something that you really like. So find something that you like, find something that you can kind of create some goals around that you want to do, that you want to get better at. Pickleball these days, right? And I don't care what
bowling.
Bowling. It has you moving. So bowling, for example, if you're like, okay, I want my average to get better. The fact that you got that goal that you're trying to get better and you're trying to get better and you're trying to get better, what happens is you don't even realize you exercising, right?
I hear you.
And that's the best. And matter of fact, we talk about what is the best exercise. It's been a lot of research on, you know what the single best exercise in the world is? The one you'll do.
Okay. Come on now. I love that. Audrey, I know what the time is, and you're in control. You're helping us, right? Audrey, do you have anything you want to ask Vince? And then I want to leave time for him to give us one last succinct, short nugget.
Okay.
But Audrey, I have a bunch, but I won't ask them. I got a bunch. I won't ask them all. What I will ask though, and I got to when you talk about the insulin and why the diabetic medicine work, it made so much sense. So my question is about the muscle. So when you are trying to reverse the muscle shrinkage, can you reverse muscle shrinkage as you get older?
Absolutely.
How do you
Absolutely.
do that?
And it's a matter of exercise. And here's the thing that's important to understand. As we age, we get a little bit weaker every day. From like your 30s, 40s on, if you don't exercise, every morning you wake up, you're a little bit weaker. The next morning, a little bit, but it's like a small percentage, and you don't know it until you find yourself struggling to get up and down stairs. Your little grandbaby or your little niece or something, and you go to pick them up, you're like, man, she feel heavy. Like, why? Because you're losing a little bit of strength. But you can reverse that by exercise. And I don't have my before and after pictures, but I'm 63 years old. And when I turned 60, I thought I was too skinny. So I wanted to see, could I put on muscle mass in my 60s, no protein powders, on a plant-based diet. And I have put on 20 pounds of muscle. My bench press is up to 315. I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to be an example to people that you can build muscle, but you got to exercise. I've heard people say, well, I want to eat plenty of protein because I want to lose muscle. Everybody's losing muscle if you're not exercising. The protein don't matter if you don't exercise. Like, it's like the body is not going to instantly get stronger because you eat meat. It's that you got to put your body under stress. And then the result of that stress is it gets stronger. Then you go exercise again. The result of that stress is you get stronger. So the answer, Audrey, is at any age, in your 80s and your 90s and your 100s, if you decide to move and exercise, you can get stronger.
Thank you.
This is good. This is just so good. Vince, what's your last word to us today before you come back the next time?
Take responsibility for your health. Do not turn your health over to what your doctor says. Because here's the thing that I want everybody to understand. Our healthcare industry is a for-profit industry.
Say that again. Say it again.
Yeah.
Our healthcare industry is a for-profit industry, which means that everyone that's working, their number one goal is increasing shareholder value, trying to make as much money as they can for the company. Listen, we know we can reverse diabetes with food. Is that helping the pharmaceutical industry?
No.
That's a multi-billion-dollar industry they got telling you got to take these pills every day the rest of your life. And so they don't want to hear that there is a way that you can control your glucose level with no medication, because there's money in the industry and their goal is to make as much money as possible. Now, I'm not down, bad-mouthing the medical industry, because they do a lot of wonderful things. And I'm not here saying that I got the cure to everything. And I'm not saying that. There is a place for medicine. There is a place for medicine. And clearly, doctors do a lot of really, really good things. But what I'm saying is take responsibility for your own health. And that means a couple of things. Number one, try to move as much as you can. Exercise is critical. Number two, eat below the red line. Eat fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes, beans, lentils, split peas, things that are grown. Y'all know what y'all grandmama used to, eat from the ground. So move, eat from the ground, sleep, and control your stress. If we do those things and have as many healthy relationships as we can, having a purpose, being around people that we enjoy being around. Like if you got a knucklehead in your life, get rid of the knucklehead.
All right. Okay. You got to come back. I'm very serious. I'm very serious. I'm happy to do it. I've already got topics. I'm writing them down as you talk. So I'll send you some dates because you're going to help us.
Okay.
You're going to help us.
Excellent. Well, do we got people? Make sure they can go to redlineticket.com to join the next challenge. Redlineticket.com and join my next Redline challenge. I don't if this is live, the next challenge starts March the 9th. Now, if this is going to be aired at another time, then
both.
But just go to redlineticket.com at any point, redlineticket.com, and then that'll show you the date of the next Redline challenge, because our goal is to help as many people as possible. And part of that is this. Right now, for my 5-day challenge, right now, I'm only charging literally $7 for that. Why? Because I know how badly people need this information. And especially Black people, like we die of heart disease more than white people do. We die of diabetes more than white people do. And don't get me wrong, I love my white people too, and I want them to get better. But we really need the help, And so that's the part of the reason why it's only it's only $7. And if you do what I'm asking you to do, it's going to change your life.
All right, thank you. I'm overwhelmed. And Audrey, I pray. I see the time, and I thank you, Audrey, for your grace. Are we okay?
We're fine, because I got one thing, though. I said, when you come back, Vince, I want you to talk about bean sprouts.
Okay. I'm happy to talk about sprout. Yeah, okay. All right.
Don't get him started, Audrey.
I ain't getting started. I want you to come back. I've been doing my own homework, and I was surprised about bean sprouts. So I want you to talk about that next now.
Sprouts in general, the science by how and why the nutrient density goes up like 10 to 20 times. I don't understand it, but it does. There's a great book by Doug Evans on doing your own sprouting. Look up Doug Evans is the sprouting expert. And sprouting, and especially for people with cancer, broccoli sprouts should be something that you're doing every day, because it takes the sulforaphane, which helps to fight the cancer, and it multiplies it. To your point, it multiplies the concentration of the sulforaphane, which is the polyphenol that really helps to reverse cancer. And I don't know why sprouting it just makes the nutrients just, it's a weird thing, but it's a wonderful thing to know. That's a very astute observation you made there, Audrey. I don't hear a lot of people.
Can I send you some dates today, Vince? Can I email you and send you some dates today for you to come back?
Linda,
you don't have to choose them today, but I'm going to send them today. Okay.
You can send them today, and I will respond today, and we can put multiple dates on the calendar if you want, and we can plan to make that happen. Because, like I said, my goal is to help as many people as possible. I want to get this message out, and anybody that hears me, if you want to bring me in to speak, either live or virtual like this, I'm open, because I want my people to know about this.
All right, Audrey, take us out. Vince, you're coming back. Everybody knows it.
Everybody knows. And listen, I'm going to invite you to the Good Morning Gwinnett show too, so look out for that email as well.
You got it, Audrey.
Listen, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I got a lot of notes over here. I just had a birthday, Dr. Chinn. So I've been on my health journey. And I have been doing things, all of these things. That's why I know about the bean sprout. So if you enjoyed this episode, share it with somebody. Somebody out there right now is a diabetic, and they are feeling hopeless and helpless, and they don't know what to do, and they think they're doing everything wrong. I want you to share this episode with them, and I want you to tell them to take a very long look at it, and then look at it again, and then share it with 2 more people, because that's how we spread this content. That's how we spread this knowledge across all communities, not just ours, all of them. So do us a favor and do that. We will be back in 2 weeks, same place, same time. Vince, thank you so much for all of the great information that you've given us. I can't wait to the next episode, because I still got a lot of questions. Dr. Chinn, thank you for always finding the most amazing people to bring on this show and educate and empower people. So thank you for that. We'll be back again. You guys stay safe out there until next time. Make it a great day. Bye, everybody.
Peace. Thanks, Vince. I love you, man.
I love you back. Thank you, Dr. Chinn, and thank you, Audrey, for having me.
You're welcome.
You've been listening to Keeping It Real with Dr. Linda Chinn. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the like button and share it with a friend. Be sure to support the show by going to lindachinnministries.com. Subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode, and tune in again in 2 weeks at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until next time, keep the faith and keep it real.